All right, the terror attack outside a concert venue in Manchester, England, raising concerns about a new trend where attackers are now targeting the areas outside of security checkpoints. And here with more on that, Paul Viollis, former supervisor for the New York District Attorney's Criminal Court Unit. Paul, thanks so much for coming on early this morning here. Yeah. I guess it doesn't take a genius to figure out if you can't get into some place with a bomb, you know, the best place to go next is the most populated area. And when you are looking at a concert hall, it was the first thing that came to my mind is, yeah, right after it ends, security goes lax. And all of a sudden, you can pretty much get in anywhere if you want to, because once Ariana Grande is off the stage, there isn't that need for security to get into the venue. You know, is this the new trend?
Actually, it's not necessarily new, but it is in the genesis of where ISIS is going to go, because they're going to continuously examine and take a page out of their business model where we're weakest and where they get the greatest return on their investment. So if you take a look at soft targets, we really don't invest in protecting soft targets, especially in our country. Malls, hospitals, sporting venues, we just simply don't. Right? No. So at the end of the day, if they really want to make a big impact, and look how much we're covering this, they want to make a big impact, minimal risk, maximum return. That's exactly what they're doing.
Kill more than 10 people, and it's all over every news station, and you get what you want. You scare people, and your agenda is accomplished. But, I mean, and that's the whole point is, I mean, how do you secure a world full of soft targets? I go to Whole Foods here in New York City, and there's 100 people checking out in line. I mean, you can do this anywhere. What do you do?
You certainly can. The most important thing to remember is that it's not going to be a situation that we can't control. We just have to really change the way that we look at things. And I'll give you a perfect example. People are talking about, initially this guy was a suicide bomber. He wasn't strapped, he was carrying. It's an entirely different thing. So when you talk about what we can do, take the basics. If you go to a sporting venue, how many times has somebody looked into a bag? Are they really looking in the bag? Or they cursory look and then they walk on? That's more it. We can do a lot better job at fine-tuning the manner in which that we exercise and deploy our security, as well as pushing the perimeter back a little bit. So there are things that we can do. There's no question.
Who's doing that well right now? I mean, are there any organizations that are doing it better than others? Are there any places that you see really need work?
There are. I mean, most need work, but it comes down to what we want to invest in. That's the bottom line. A lot of people complained when we had the Super Bowl here at Giant Stadium. You probably remember that. Well, people complained because they pushed the perimeter back. People complained and vendors complained because it was going to take them longer to get there. They did undercarriage searches of vehicles, etc. But did anything happen? No. Did they have a plethora of threats against it? Yes. The bottom line is, are we willing to compromise convenience for added safety? That's really the question.
We've already had to do it at the airport. Paul, thanks so much for coming on.
Always a pleasure, Al. Appreciate it.